All right.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot for taking time out of your Sunday to be with us. My name is Andrew Snorton, and every second and fourth Sunday, I'm so excited to be a part of our Authors Roundtable series, all about the authors. Again, every second and fourth Sunday, about this time, about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Central. We're excited to have at least two guest authors to come in that are sharing their work, the themes that they cover, the different projects they have going on. So that way you guys get a chance to find out more about this great network, this great system of great writers doing great things. Even if it's your first time being with us and your first time connecting with the authors here, including yours truly, please don't let this be the
During
last
college, I
time.
would write stories down. Every job that I've ever worked on, I remember working at the State Department in Georgia. I would write stories. And I remember my coworkers would just come and they would read over my shoulder because they were like, "What are you doing?" Because every single day for the entire year, that's all I did was write in journals. And I filled up probably about 45 journals, just writing every day. And you would be amazed at how much writing you could get done in that time. And so I started, as soon as I left the State Department, I started my small press called Golden Butterfly Publishing. I started in 2008. And the goal was to look at the creativity gap within children's literature. So wherever there is not a story that I believe that African American children should be able to read or enjoy or have access to, I try to fill in that gap. So I wanted to talk to you about just some of the stories that I've worked on as of late. Some of the things that we've done, we have a lot of people who write books and they tend to write more picture books. So we tend to publish books that are more chapter and series books. So I wanted to share one with you today. This is one in a series. It's called 90 Time Traveler. And it's about a little girl who's technologically enhanced by her mother. And she and
Mhm.
her brother Kiyande, they embark on saving the world. And so I wrote this particular book because there wasn't a book on the market that was anything like this. You start to see a lot of superhero books, but you never see both a boy and a girl superhero. It's almost never a girl. Okay. So, that's the reason that
Never.
and so there's actually, they're twins. So the covers actually look the same, except they're just separate books. So one of the things that people kept asking me as I was going out marketing this book, and this became pretty popular, is how come there aren't other journals or materials that children could use? So I created a journal to go with it for the children.
So,
So then I started hearing from boys, well, I like to use more tactile materials. So we created a puzzle too to go with the series. And so we
ah,
like branching out and merchandising much more of our books and selections and things like that. So again, we tend to work on more I know a lot of authors that are working on picture books. We tend to work on fuller stories. So this is one by Tony Lindsay. It's called Almost Grown. It's a collection of short stories for African American with African American characters, both boys and
mhm.
girls. And typically you don't see this. Sometimes you see a collection just for girls or just for boys. And immediately when
Right.
people look, they think it's an urban fiction book, but it's not. It's actually a collection of short stories. So those kids that maybe they don't necessarily want to read an entire book, they could get this and just read some of
So
the
what
stories in the
I
book.
heard this voice saying is you're not helping people when they only see the glossy side of you. There are people right now, there are young Tory folks at 18 in high school that don't know how to get where they need to be. And they're facing a lot of the situations that you emerged from. And so the only way that you can help them, or what I need you to do, is show them those dark and painful parts, how you got through situations that they're dealing with now, and uh, manifest the life of their dreams. So I started working on a book called 6 Lessons from a Survivor. But I knew that it was going to take time to put that together. And I just kept feeling this sense of urgency. I mean, I was scared. Anxiety had taken over. My voice was cracking every day. When I talked, my fingertips were like cold and numb. And I was just nervous, like something bad was really going to happen at any minute. And so I said, okay, God, well, what if I only have a month to live? What if I only have 2 weeks to live? What is it that I can leave people with? What can I leave on this earth? And he said, what would you write to your younger self? So that's how I got the book. You got this letters to my younger self. So I just sat down and I started writing these letters. And I wrote and I cried, and the well of tears just poured, as I began to write these letters. And, I came up with basically 5 core principles or things that, I wish that I had known at 18, at 15, at 14, that, you have everything that you need right now to be successful. It doesn't matter if you don't have money or you have a lot of money. It doesn't matter, what kind of family background you came from, if you have a lack of family support, if you are in foster care. It doesn't matter if you're the ugly duckling, or, if you're a person who everyone looks to with all this pressure on. You have what you need right now to be successful. And so I got the book written and I published it last year in August, and it actually went to #1 bestseller in Amazon in 2 categories while it was yet in pre-sale. But this is not something that I ever planned to do. I really ran from sharing those painful dark sides, because now I'm exposing things myself and becoming very vulnerable to the world. But when I wrote and published the book, there were so many things that manifested in my life. Not only did I get a job offer that doubled my current salary, okay, but I had people come to me and said, you know what, I'm 62 years old, and when I read your book, it immediately addressed issues that I have been struggling with.
Sometimes we have 2 people with very similar stories, and then sometimes we have people like you two queens that you're coming from 2 totally different directions, but in all, it's still purposeful, because you're talking about a little girl or a little boy that's a superhero, and that's what we need. We look to our parents or our teachers or our pastors and people, the big people in our lives when we're little, to be our superhero. But finding a superhero in yourself when you're dealing with stuff that nobody's saving you from is kind of what I'm feeling from Dr. Flowers. Like I have to find my own superhero. And even when you're 50, you got to go back to the 8-year-old and build a superhero so that you can actually not just, pull that memory, like really pull that memory up, because we suppress it. And that's why we deal with a lot of depression. And reflect on that thing, lay that thing out, talk about it, and be able to become what God truly meant us, to be. So when I think about just what you both shared, I just commend you. And I believe, I want to thank you for sharing that, because there's a superhero in both of you. And what you're sharing is allowing everyday people to learn how to be superheroes to themselves. So just beautiful. Thank you so much.
Make sure to catch the full broadcast on All About the Authors 520 on Facebook and All About the Authors 520 on YouTube. Don't forget to support these and other great authors, and make sure to check out the hosts, All About the Authors. We'll see you soon.